Hey everybody, Kennis here. I've been wanting to make a series of videos on getting equipment for a lot less than retail prices. For whatever reason, I've got this knack for finding deals. Almost every piece of gear you see here, matter of fact, every single piece of gear that is in my studio, I either did not pay for at all, or I paid probably close to half off. Even stuff that I've bought new have been I did not pay full price for. So I just kind of wanted to go through some of the tricks that I found for you to get your cheapest possible gear, or the gear you can get for the best possible price, or even free. I'm going to show you a couple items here, and I'll make this a couple different parts because I got a bunch of gear I want to show you and just kind of tell you the stories behind them. So this guy right here is a Trace Elliot 1210 bass amplifier, and this is a killer amp. I mean, it's a killer amp. I love it. I got a review on YouTube if you're interested in checking it out. But I love this amp. Well, this guy retailing in stores is $1,400. That's the MSRP, according to like Musician's Friend and those kind of places. $1,400. That's a lot of money to spend on an amplifier. Now, it is a killer amp, so I will say it probably is worth $1,400. However, there's no way in the world I have that kind of dough to throw around at a bass amp right now. So here's my tip is when you're looking for something, save up your money, just get some cash. That way when the deal comes, you're ready to pull the trigger. Instead of just going to Guitar Center or going to your store and just buying something because you like it then and there, that's what they're hoping for. And good for them. That's how they're making money. I'm glad that there's music stores around, but I just am not gonna spend full retail price just because I want it then and there. So if you can just say, I'm gonna be patient for what I'm looking for, and I'm saving the money to where when I find it, I can pull the trigger on it, you will get a better deal. So this guy right here, like I said, $1,400 is what Guitar Center is gonna sell this for. Now they might even come down, instead of $1,400, it might be on the floor for $1,200 or $1,150, but it's still gonna be over $1,000 for sure if you're seeing this guy at a Guitar Center at a new price. Well, I saw this on Craigslist for $350. Now, to put this in perspective, like the amps that I was looking for, the bass amps that I was looking for, I was looking in kind of that used 300 price range or whatever, and I had never even heard of this particular amp. I was familiar with a little bit of the Trace Elliot name, but I wasn't familiar with this amp because it was so far out of my price range, it wasn't even on my radar. So I started Googling it and seeing the research on it and going, wait a minute, this cannot be the same amp that's MSRP $1,400, and this guy's selling it for $350. If there is, there's just stuff majorly wrong with it. Called up the guy, sure enough, same amp, went to his house. He was just getting rid of some gear that he wasn't using, and this was too heavy of an amp for him. So he got a different amp that was a lot lighter for his needs. And so he's just unloading this. Sometimes they're not really trying to squeeze every single penny out of their equipment. They just kind of want to get it out of their house. And that was the situation with this. This guy just wanted to get it out of the house. And so anyway, he was asking $350 for it. Now, that kind of comes to my second rule that I have is always ask for a discount. So, I mean, went to his house, it was in his garage, played it, liked it, and I was ready to pay $350 for it, but I just asked him, would you take $325? And he thought about it for about 15 seconds and said, sure, $325. We shook on it, voila. For $325, bought a $1,400 bass amp. That is a killer deal. It's a quarter of the price. So having the money, being patient, and then asking for discounts. The other thing is, sometimes you'll find great gear that just has like minor things wrong with it, like very, very minor things. If you are a fix-it-upper kind of guy at all, if you can do just the most minor bit of electronic work, or you're just willing to get out a can of contact cleaner and just clean some things, you're able to actually find deals. Like for this amp, for instance, I got it, and see how it's all lit up green right now? Well, it wasn't green when it happened, and the light, it's got a little volume for the light on the back. If it's all the way up, it works pretty well, but if you turn it down, sometimes it kind of shorts out like that, but it's not that huge of a deal. As a matter of fact, I took some contact cleaner when I first got it and got it working perfectly. So I just need to put some more contact cleaner on this and it'll be working fine as well. But that gives you an idea of the type of things that, if you're willing to deal with little cosmetic things like that are not any big deal to me, or you're willing to just kind of take a little bit of time cleaning something up, you can get some really good deals. I actually kind of feel bad about asking less for this particular amp because it was such a good deal. I should have just said here's a $350, take it. But anyway, that just goes to show, even if something's at a rock bottom price, people are willing to take a little bit less for it. So let me show you something else that I had here. This is a Fender American bass. Now, I bought this bass about 10 years ago when I had almost no money whatsoever. You know, I was working at Mars Music, which Mars Music was kind of like a Guitar Center. It was on the level of Guitar Center. It was probably bigger than Sam Ash. And in Nashville, Tennessee is where I lived. And that was kind of like the mega store for Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I was working, you know, I was the guy that was like signing the receipts as you walked out. You know, you'd say, hey, I bought this, and I would sign the receipt and count what's in your bag or whatever. Just to kind of kill time, a lot of times I would pick up a bass or guitar and just kind of play with it. So I picked up this bass and I was just kind of playing around with it. And the bass manager came up and he said, hey, you want that bass? And I said, yeah, sure, I want it, but you don't want what I can pay for it. And he said, try me. So I could tell he was serious the way he said it. And I said, seriously, like, what could you sell this bass for me? And, you know, we got a little bit of a discount, but it wasn't that great. And so we ended up, he takes us back to the computer and he says, all right, the cost on this bass, or what we're selling this bass for, is $998. Mars Music paid $700 for it, and I'll sell it to you for $350. And I was like, well, why would you do that? And he said, just trust me, I can do it, and I'll sell it to you for $350. Well, I said, all right, let me put it in the back. Tomorrow I will come up with $350 and I will buy this. Figured out a way to get $350 for a $1,000 bass, and now these run probably $1,200. A couple of weeks later, I ended up quitting, taking another job, and then Mars Music went under. They liquidated, they sold the business. The business failed. And I realized what happened was Mars Music probably gave the last ditch effort to all the managers, just saying, get as much money as we can, a last ditch effort to save the company, just sell your all the product just to get some money, some cash flow. And so just kind of a lot of times just being in the right place at the right time is the key. Now, again, I was able to come up with $350 to buy this bass. If I didn't have the money, I wouldn't have been able to buy it. So just kind of setting money aside and being patient and waiting on it is a huge key. Now, that's kind of a once in a lifetime deal. Usually you're not going to find a brand new product that's worth $1,000 and getting it for $350, but you can find a lot of used stuff. And sometimes people are either selling something they don't know the value of, or they just simply just want to get rid of it. It's not worth it to them to have to haggle with people, or dealing with eBay, or putting it on Craigslist and just taking the time up to get the most, every single penny out of it. There's a lot of people that'll put something up on Craigslist and they'll just think, hey, if it sells on Craigslist, great. If not, I'll just take it over to the pawn shop and I'll sell it there. Well, pawn shop is going to give you like 20-25% of the retail value of this. So if I were to take this bass right now into a pawn shop, I would be lucky if they gave me $300 for it. You know, so, and then they would turn around and probably sell it for $700 or so. So, you know, that's kind of the deal. So somebody might be thinking, hey, I can get $300 at a pawn shop, but if I can get $400 from somebody else, I'd rather do that, you know, and it'd be a quick turnaround. So keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open on Craigslist. So what I would do, here's my list of rules here again. Rule number 1, have the money. So get the money saved up. Rule number 2, be patient. Look for it around. Rule number 3, always ask for less than it retails for, or what they're asking for it, even if it's in a store. And rule number 4, be able to deal with little things that may not, if it's used equipment, it may not be perfect. So anyway, just a couple of some of the tips that I have for finding gear used and or free, and I'll show you a couple other videos coming up that are some stuff that I basically got for free on Craigslist. So anyway, Kennis Russell here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you so much.